Welcome to A Chat with Heart. I'm your host, Christina Martin. I'm a singer-songwriter. I live on a dirt road with my best friend Dale in rural Nova Scotia, Canada. A Chat with Heart is just me having chill conversations with people I want to celebrate and topics that I'm curious about. If you have a question or a comment for this podcast, call my Heartbeat hotline, 1-902-669-4769. To send this podcast even more love, visit me online at patreon.com/Christina Martin. I'm so happy you're listening. Our personal stories have great power to heal, influence, and inspire. All we have to do is show up for the conversation. If we just talk about it, we could shine a light, we could break a dark day. If we just talk about it, we can cut away, we can make a brighter day. Okay, I'm just going to roll. Good morning. That's what time I'm doing my little intro here for Chat with Art podcast. New episode. It is exciting to be alive, I feel. I have some very positive updates. Do you want to hear them? Okay, here we go. Just off the press, August 17th, I'm so thrilled to announce I will be performing with my band at the Blueberry Jam Festival in Mabu, Nova Scotia. That's on Cape Breton Island. And I couldn't be more thrilled. I have a conversation coming up soon with the organizer, Rankin McInnes, so stay tuned for that. I'm beyond thrilled to have that invitation. And it's just, been doing quite a few band rehearsals, driving to the city, staying with mom, and then doing like blocks of 2 days of rehearsals. We do just 3-hour sessions because, a lot of us have like day jobs and a lot of driving, like Jordy, our drummer, Jordy Comstock, he's driving from Bridgewater. Jason Vautour, he teaches music during the day. Myself, I've got an online part-time job. Dale Murray doesn't, but he likes to keep busy recording and making music for other people. And we've been doing some great rehearsals with 2 keyboard players. One, Ian Bent. Oh my God. I just love this human. He plays the grand piano parts on my album Storm, and he's playing the show with us the day this episode launches, July 28th at Granville Green. And he plays with Alana York and is that part of that musical collaboration, his wife Alana, and what a sweet man and an incredibly talented guy. Recently, we've also met it's the Musician of the Year on Prince Edward Island, and we are so lucky that she is living 30 minutes from us. Her name is Hannah Melanson. Am I saying that right? Hannah's going to let me know. Hannah Melanson. Yeah, it's Melanson. We've been over this. Milan, and I have this visual in my head, mowing lawn. Sorry, terrible vision. I also have a vision of her playing, immaculate and intricate and unique keyboards, but also sitting on a lawn tractor and mowing the lawn. That's how I remember how to pronounce her last name. What a joy she's been in our life. We've had her rehearsing at the house. She's doing a bunch of shows with us coming up, including the show September 6th at Alderney Landing. And this fall, we've announced 3 shows in New Brunswick, in Fredericton, St. John, and Moncton, bringing the band. Those New Brunswick shows were playing with Elm City String Quartet. And September 6th at Alderney Landing we have a string section as well. And I'm just so excited about it all, like to finally be getting to do these shows the way I've envisioned them, live for people. And if you don't know, September 6th is an even bigger project, quite costly. A lot of investments involved. Music Nova Scotia's just awarded me a lovely grant to help support that, and Factor is also behind it, and a lot of out-of-pocket money from yours truly to make it all happen. So we're filming it. We have visuals, animations, lighting design by Mackenzie Cornfield, who is another just a gem that I've been introduced to this year. Been so wonderful working with Mackenzie. We're showcasing album artwork, a very intense collaboration with myself and Nicole Aline Legault, my dear friend, and also photography by Cherokee Anderson that was used in the album artwork, where there'll be some of that in the show. And it's just a massive project to, yeah, that's all. I'm just so excited. So that's all going well. As much as I, have the feeling like I'm always behind, I think I'm on track. That's sort of, I've noticed that about myself over the year. I always feel like I'm behind and I'm never hitting my deadlines, but I usually plan ahead so that in reality, I'm hitting the deadlines. It's fine. So I feel very calm for the most part. Hey, I had my first chiropractor appointment this week, and it was awesome. I'm excited. I've got 2 more coming up. I was nervous. I think I had a fear about going to the chiropractor, and nothing major for me, just a few adjustments needed. But as you're getting older, it's good to check in on these things, not let them go too long if you're feeling the pains. And you know what I've got coming up? August 28th, I want to mention Small of My Heart Songwriter Circle with Lisa McIsaac and Mo Kenny. That's in Pictou. And my mom's officially done her chemotherapy, and she's doing really well. She's gaining more energy every day, and she's got some visitors coming to stay with her this month. So I'm home more, but I've really enjoyed my time with Mom, and we redid her guest room, and yeah, I gotta say, she is a fucking champ. And also a champ for putting up with me sometimes, because I really push my mom. I don't know if that's the right thing to do, but I push her to, live her best life, because I really think she deserves that. And she might be resistant at first, and then she comes around. She's like, okay, I'll try what you suggested. I feel like such a bully sometimes, and maybe I am, but honestly, she's doing really well, and that's all her. And maybe a little bit of me just kind of being a pain in the ass and pushing her to take care of herself. And she's a remarkable woman, though. Okay, listen, my guest today, I'm so happy you're listening, and thank you so much for all your support. I just got another patron, Connie, signed up this week. Super exciting. Thank you so much, Connie. We have 65 patrons supporting me on Patreon monthly, yearly. You can sign up to be a free patron and get the newsletter as well. So it's not hard to find. If you visit my website, there's links to Patreon and I believe messages on this podcast that lead the way to my Patreon page. And one of my patrons is a guest today. But there are 2 guests today that make up the Green Reflectors. They're 2 of the nicest brothers that they get along. Siblings don't always get along so well. These do. And they're super talented and doing something that I deem very unique in terms of like music in Atlantic Canada. Like, I don't know anyone else that sounds like them, or if you go see them perform live, that to me, they're completely unique here. So it's refreshingly creative. I urge you to check out their music. Go catch them live, as it's a very physical and fun performance. And so take some time to watch their handcrafted music videos with your family and friends. They're also authors, and they have a Christmas book out, and the music's great. And why do I love this episode? Because Kyle and Aaron, who make up the Green Reflectors, they brought a live studio audience with them, Holly Patterson. They brought some show and tell. We talk about decluttering, which is one of my passions. And we find out, more about each of them and where the name the Green Reflectors actually comes from. Kyle is a cancer survivor, so he tells us about his experience with that. And I can confirm, after hanging out for a whole afternoon barbecuing with this crew, they are, in fact, genuinely lovely humans. So here are two grown boys that still really love toys. Welcome, Kyle and Aaron of the Green Reflectors. Well, first of all, welcome to A Chat with Heart podcast. I'm so happy to finally have you as my guests.
Thanks for having us.
And you're even in our home. Like, not many guests come all the way. Like, these are oftentimes Zoom chats. So this is extra special that you're in our home. You've brought some show and tell. We're going to talk about that.
We like to go all out.
And this is why I want to ask about craftiness, because I'm sitting with Aaron and Kyle at my what is this? Is not a kitchen table. This is what is this room?
It's like an entertaining room of some kind.
Entertaining room of some kind. Table.
Card table.
Harvest table.
It's actually, and speaking of harvest table,
I think that's what
the wood has been harvested from our old barn. So
I think that's what.
That's cool.
It's a harvest table, and
The
on
antique term for a table made out of rustic wood.
Yeah, like, so all across, laid out, strewn. Is that a word?
Yeah.
Yep, thank you. And we have Holly, by the way, here too, our live studio audience, and also doubling as our social media manager, right?
And faithful navigator that got us here.
Which when you told me that, I thought you were referring to your GPS, but and yeah,
I like the legs on this table.
Yeah,
it's a nice
Holly's,
table.
Thank you so much.
I really like it.
We had a friend who actually made it for us. So kudos to Alistair. Holly, also thanks for the great homemade hummus.
You're welcome.
Okay, this is awesome. Okay, so strewn across the harvest table, y'all, can you describe what you brought for show and tell? And then I want to dive into
The quick and dirty is miniature versions of ourselves and what we do. There's really mini versions of ourselves, which my best friend Holly made for us. And they're made from pipe cleaners, jean patches, and I think Aaron's hat is made out of a foam.
It's foam.
And mine is like
sheets of
felt.
craft foam.
Sheets of craft foam, and yours is felt. And we're going to share a photo of this on my social media. It's all over your social. They're all over your social media.
They pop up all the time whenever we want to.
Christmas.
Yeah.
Especially at Christmas. Reflectmas. #Reflectmas.
Yeah.
Reflectmas.
That's what we call it, yeah.
I love it. It really is a time of year to reflect.
It is.
It's so nostalgic.
And part of that whole thing was just like, it's kind of reflecting on our childhood, and we always really liked the Rudolph Christmas special. So that's what those guys were kind of based on. They're not quite as posable as like a real stop motion figure, so we just kind of put them in like different vehicles
they
and move them around like
sit in
that.
little cars or trucks or on a little snowmobile or something.
That's so cool. I can't bend them, can I?
Yeah.
I don't want to.
They'll sit.
I want them to sit. Okay, I don't want to break anything. I'm going to put them up against the Green Reflector.
Aaron's bum is too slippery.
It's an ongoing
It's not
problem.
the first time he's heard that.
It's an ongoing problem.
Woo!
Yeah,
See, there I go
see?
again.
Fender stack?
Yeah, so this...
GR stack.
Yeah.
I have a friend. He's actually the fellow that runs Rockopolis across the street from Long McQuaid. It's a rehearsal space.
Yeah.
But he also does, and he recovers amplifiers, and he makes guitars, and he's quite a woodworker as well.
I think he made Dale's pedal board.
It's very possible.
Yeah.
Like that's his kind of, that's his bag.
What's
or
his
whatever.
name?
Pete Green.
Yeah, it's Pete. Pete made Dale's pedal board.
Yeah.
Pete Green. Wow. No. Is there a pun
perfect.
intended?
Yeah.
No. Or is that's just because these are the Green Reflectors. Pete Green made this stack.
Yeah, he's been a friend of ours for a long time. His band, the Black Rats, there we played with them for a long time. And anyway, I asked him if he could make me like a little miniature amp, and I kind of gave him like a vague idea of what I wanted, and this is what he came up with.
So cool. And
turned out really
this
good.
is also featured in some videos.
Yeah, our Coke can crab video, which brings us to the Marionettes.
Oh, I thought you were going to say brings me to the crab because there is a crab
Well,
here
there is
too.
a-
but
he's in
it too.
we'll get there. But okay,
Calvin the Crab.
Calvin the crab.
He
I think we have a photo of me and Calvin the crab. We'll
he
put up.
flips around and plays a djembe in the video.
This is, but
We
you
were-
you guys just did Mike and Kristen the podcast. Did you bring all this too to theirs?
We did,
Yeah,
yeah.
we
All
brought
right,
our
that's
toy
good.
box there too.
Good, because the more the merrier, and we've got some overlap, but different audiences too. So the more people get to see this magical, these magical creations and hear your music is the best. So
That the crab was made by her name was Isabel, like Pinot or something like that.
Yeah.
You know,
I don't know about the
really bad at
pronunciation.
pronouncing and remembering names. But yeah, we weren't really sure how to make like a puppet crab. So like this is kind of what we came up with. And he just has the sticks that are attached to his claws. And that's really all he does because we just wanted him to kind of play the drums.
yeah,
But yeah, he's super cute.
Came from like a Google image search. I was like, okay, I want a felt crab. Not something that looks really realistic, just something like fun and toy
looks
looking.
cute.
And then we saw a picture. I was like, that. Can you make that, but make his pincers or whatever,
His claws.
his claws bigger, just so he can
do
so he
you
can
actually
really
play drums?
play that djembe. You know,
Oh
like-
yeah,
I didn't
So-
bring that. I should have brought that. But
that's you forgot the jambe. The
he's got a little
jambe.
djembe.
There's more pieces to all of this.
yeah, yeah.
This is like
It
just
was
a tiny
it was
bit.
a whole thing.
Oh my god. Okay, go on. So there's more.
Yeah, so we have marionettes that look like us, and they were made by. So if you look up Darionettes, Hard Rock Marionettes on Instagram and Facebook, but yeah, they're pretty big,
They're huge. Wow.
and they can dance around and do all kinds of crazy things. But
So you guys are brothers from the same mother and father.
that is correct.
Do you have any other siblings?
I have a sister. Well, we have a sister.
Yeah, you
we're
do.
all like
That's
2
right.
years- yeah.
So selfish.
Just
I
me.
have a
I have a
sister. Do you guys get along?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. We're all like. So Aaron and I are like almost Irish twins. So we're like a year and a half ish apart.
Yeah.
We're at that weird part in the year where we're actually like one number apart. So I'm 35 and he's 34.
Okay.
So, and then Shannon was born in '86. So we're all like 2 years ish apart.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
we were kind of like a tight knit group. Yeah.
So growing up, you guys were really close, always. Like
Oh, yeah.
there must have been some fights. Do you ever have fights?
yeah.
And how does that?
Yeah. There's been fights like in the band. There's been like
Yeah.
there's been moments where we're like we didn't talk to each other for a while, and like
Mm-hmm.
we didn't even there was a point where we didn't like actually like rehearse together for a while because we were kind of like grumpy at each other.
Just
so-
weren't talking.
Yeah.
What
It's
changed?
not perfect. I don't know. You just kind of get over it after a while. You just kind of want to get back to work. And you're like, you know what? Screw this. Fighting sucks.
Yeah, I hear you.
When was that?
It was like a couple years ago when we were
He
booked to go.
doesn't even-
I know
he
what
just forgets. That's his method. He's like, I don't remember ever fighting with you, actually, Kyle.
we've definitely fought, especially as kids. We used to like bite each other and stuff like that. You know,
Do you have any scars from that?
not from biting each other or any of the fights we had, but
That's good.
no. I don't know. We get along pretty good though. Like there's like the little spat here and there, but like I don't know. The band has been a thing for 16 years, and we've been through a lot together. Mm-hmm. And I don't know. We just always find a way to keep on going.
That's so cool.
Usually like now, like the fights, like if they just kind of brush them under the rug, like the day that they happen, like you
Yeah.
just move on. It's like whatever.
I've kind of come to believe that some of the healthiest relationships you can have these fights. Like I'm now looking at Holly because I want her to be involved in this conversation. I'm like,
We have fights.
yeah, but
They're
like,
good ones, you know.
I remember in university, I was studying psychology, and I remember a research study that talked about like it's healthier to feel any emotion than to repress and just pass, like let things slide. So what that meant was this research showed that like even if you were angry, you don't want to burn bridges, but it's important to find a way to get it out, or to say like, I'm really pissed off at you. I still love you. You know what I mean? Like to learn that, like it took me forever to learn that you can be pissed off. You can say what's on your mind as long as you kind of find a healthier way to eventually get out of it, or like let go and be like, well, we said that, we know how we feel. Now let's fucking move on from that. Like that just had to be said.
Yeah. We tell each other everything. Like even if we know it's going to like tick the other person off, we just get it out there rather than like keep it in.
I like that
and that
too.
kind of helps, especially like if it's when it's band related stuff and it's like, hey, I don't want to do this thing or whatever. Like we tell each other.
Yeah. I think that's important.
If you don't like, he'll like, I'll have a song. And then if he doesn't like the song, he'll just tell me. And I'm like, okay. Sometimes I'll like fight for it a little bit.
This one doesn't seem to go along with what we're doing right now.
You're like, yeah, this one sounds like Green Day. I don't want to do that one. I'm like, okay.
Have you ever had a situation where that same song that maybe isn't right for the time, like then later on and you actually come back to it? And
yep, we did that.
Yeah.
With the one that you voiced, actually, that Sizzaboo Sizzler song. Mm-hmm. Yep, that one was one that we had years ago, and it just sort of like fell apart, and we didn't do anything with it for a long time, and we didn't really like it. And then he had another idea, and he was like, we should do that and make it more surfy. Yeah,
that riff and like turn it into a completely different thing.
Yeah,
and then
he sent me a different drum beat,
that's
and then
cool.
That turned into a new song. But yeah, that's like totally one of those situations.
Yeah, there's something to be said about learning when to let go of an idea and maybe not trash it, but just shelf it for now, come back to it, rework it. I've even... Go ahead, Aaron.
A lot of guitar riffs and stuff we came up with over the years that like...
It's hard to figure out like where they go. We don't... Like there's no lyrics that tie together our stuff, which I think can kind of help. Like a melody can kind of help.
You got to find like a couple of guitar riffs like you can put together. Like, okay, this is like the verse part of the song. And then this riff is like the chorus part of it. So you need a couple, and then it's hard to find like that other accompanying piece to go with. Yeah,
there are some songs we have that have taken years. We'll just like, we'll be jamming and Aaron will be like, try that whole riff again or whatever. That one that sounds like this or whatever, and we'll play it. And sometimes they turn into a new song and it all comes together. But I don't know, it's a vibe thing too. Like some days are just really good days, and then like all of a sudden like the ideas are flowing and the songs come out, and you can kind of finish those unfinished ideas. But some stuff just sits around forever and ever.
That's true. You do have to show up. If you show up every day, that's more likely to happen. Like if you just go, you know what, I'm not feeling it, I'm just gonna not play music or write for like 2 months. Well, then you will never know what could have been created in that time if you had just shown up at the same time and just kind of like plowed through stuff and experimented. So there's, like being there. And do you guys have like a regular rehearsal time, or what's your
practice every
usually
weekend?
Yeah.
Okay,
it's usually like he'll come over Friday night and we'll just kind of like hang out, and then Saturday like sometimes we'll jam all day especially if we're making new stuff, but we always at least have a practice. We just kind of go over like the existing material.
Yeah,
and we usually go over like all of it. So,
yeah.
And there's more and more of it these days, but yeah, like you're talking about, like it's sort of like exercising your creative muscle,
right?
Like, and just it's just like anything. Like if you stop training your biceps, so you're gonna have weak arms or whatever, right? So I always thought of it like that too. So we're always kind of at it, always practicing, always talking about it, always making new things, and like especially like this stuff too, like the marionettes and all the other stuff that we do. It's all, it's just to keep things moving and having fun.
Was it one of you more crafty as a kid? I want to go back. Aaron, you're pointing at Aaron. So tell me a bit about...
I made the drum set that goes with the marionettes.
Which, okay, again, my Little Heartbeat listeners, you got to check out both mine and the Green Reflectors Instagrams, because we're going to post some photos of what's here on my harvest table, what they've brought to the old farmhouse.
Those are legit hand-hammered cymbals.
Yeah. So cool. So cool. So as a kid, were you making stuff?
Yep, like model cars and working on bikes.
He was always painting and drawing.
I still do that stuff, actually.
Yeah.
So we just always like toys and cool things, and
I've always had
still like that. That's why
I've always had a thing
stuff.
for handmade stuff.
Yeah,
I
handmade
love
things.
stuff.
I like making stuff.
Yeah.
So when you guys were kids, what point did like cell phones and computers come into your lives? Because I think I was born in 79, and 88.
90.
Yeah, you're kidding. Wow.
Computers came into, well, I can kind of always remember them being around. I know we had like a really old computer that took like the floppy disks.
Yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Like, and it was like the screen was like orange and black.
Yeah.
They were basically useless up until like the early
they were
2000s.
just paperweights. Yeah, we could play like Wheel of Fortune on one, but I remember that, but not really caring about it that much until like I went over to a friend's house and they had video games, and it was just that changed my life right there.
It took over.
Yeah. Nintendo. Well, it did for me, not for Aaron. Aaron managed to avoid all that stuff, and he was sort of like, he called me a Nintendo freak, and he was sort of anti that stuff. He's like, I don't want to touch this stuff. I don't want anything to do with it. And I went all the way full tilt into the video game world in like the mid 90s up until like 2000, and then guitar took over in around 2003 when I also got interested in girls.
Girls and guitars. Did one like motivate the other? Did the
I definitely started playing guitar to impress girls, but it didn't work. But then I got, I got interested. I got really into guitar, like legit into guitar and music, and I was like, no, I just like it for it.
I actually do like this. Yeah. Forget about the girls.
Well, it didn't work.
and drums. Like, what's your musical background? I know there's a connection here between you, my drummer Jordy Comstock, and you, unless I just made that up. Okay, but go back to.
He's my teacher for the last 6 years, I guess, 6.5 years.
Do you have any gossip on him?
No.
Like did he ever lose it on you and like throw a stick at you or anything?
It's not my tempo.
Not my tempo. Not yet. No. I like his cat, Bobby.
Oh, Bobby. I've seen pictures and videos. Hey, Bobby. That's so. Yeah. When did you start playing music, and what motivated your interest?
Well, so
I know it wasn't Nintendo.
No.
Definitely wasn't Nintendo.
The first thing I wanted to play was the trombone, because I used to go to like my older sisters like the high school, like the band shows that they do every now and periodically at the school, where I was like, I just kind of like the trombone because it's this thing. It's kind of neat. It has like moving parts, and I like
has buttons.
I like buttons. I like.
There was no buttons on that.
No, it didn't have buttons.
Not the trombone.
Trombones. I was thinking of a trumpet. Sorry, I clearly I don't know
like
my wind instruments.
It's the cooler version of the trumpet.
But is it though?
I think so. Well, our little heartbeat listeners will write in, and I'm gonna get. First of all, I'm gonna get trolls about saying that a trombone has buttons. It's not a wind instrument.
It's a brass.
We're totally cutting this out. What's a wind instrument? That's a flute.
Well, let's consult Holly on this one. Holly works in the band department at Long and McQuaid.
Well, I thought anything blew.
Come hither.
Come on, Holly. Anything you blow into isn't that a wind instrument? Oh my.
So wind comes from woodwind.
Come on up, Holly.
Into the Michael.
Holly Patterson, ladies and gentlemen, everybody.
Your local Long and McQuaid representative.
Yeah. Get right up there to the mic. Yeah.
So woodwind is typically comes from like the wooden wind instruments. So like flutes used to be made of wood, so they were considered flutes, clarinets, oboes, that kind of thing.
So it's got to have wood
are in there. Not
no.
anymore, because most flutes are made of silver, and saxophones are included because they're like a reed instrument. So reed instruments and anything that you that would be made of wood. And then brass instruments or anything that has like a mouthpiece that you kind of make the weird fart noise and go.
Yeah, that's a fart instrument.
That's a brass instrument.
That's a brass instrument. Okay.
Brass.
Claiming quite the education here.
And trumpet would be brass, and like tuba and euphonium, that kind of thing.
Cool.
Brass.
Thank you for that. Holly Patterson, everybody.
Yeah.
Woo!
Excellent.
And I'm not editing any of that out. I don't care that I've just basically...
We're having a good time.
Yeah, we're having a good time. So...
But so trombone. I don't know.
Trombone.
I think just the...
Well, at band camp, when you they used to like take everybody, whether they're interested in music or not, everybody would go to like the band room, and they'd kind of set you up and try you out on a bunch of different instruments and be like, okay, we think you're going to play the trumpet or the trombone or whatever. So that's what would have happened to you, is they would have just like...
You had to go to the music
gave
room
it to you
in grade 6, and they'd look you over and like, okay.
Look you over.
Your hands are this size. And like, this might
Wow.
be...
Yeah, your mouth is this size.
You don't have a choice.
I do actually kind of remember, like, when I went that day, thinking, okay, either trombone or drums. I get that. But somebody else, there was only one opening in the band for one or two for drums, because that was...
That's all the cool stuff. Is like,
somebody already had it, and I was like, well, shit.
Oh, you...
So trombone and...
Wait, did you go because you thought you weren't supposed to swear on this podcast?
Yeah.
I think I already dropped
Definitely can. It's cool. Yeah. It's encouraged.
I don't even know why I liked the thing. I just think it was like the trombone just looked like a cool mechanical thing.
Cool wind instrument,
Cool
right?
wind instrument.
I know.
I'm just going to say it is.
It's the brass, I know.
Yeah, but friggin' saxophones are
You're
brass and whatever.
I know.
Oh, you're gonna fight it?
I can't really like put my finger on why it was I liked the trombone, but I just it looked kind of fun
So
to
you
play.
played
So
that?
I did the week-long band camp thing at the end of summer before grade 7, and then I didn't play it again after that.
Okay.
Because it just didn't... I couldn't get
Didn't
it.
resonate with him.
It didn't resonate.
Funny. So grade 7, then you quit?
This is grade 6. This is like the summer. Well,
Yeah.
like going
Well, like-
into grade 7.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, so I
'Cause that's when
basically
band
did
started
that
for us.
one week long band camp thing, and then I like switched over and just like took tech class instead of music. So like all through school, I never
I
took music.
did similar-
And
I did
didn't
trumpet. I was the
play
same way.
or touch any of that stuff. But I used to see all of Kyle's bands, the couple of them there that we probably won't bother to
Go into?
We can, but
speak about. But like his
Short-lived.
friend played drums, and so I'd see that. I think that's kind of what influenced it. Like drums are another thing that like one of the reasons I like it is like, not just because it's like a musical thing you can play, but it's like there's a mechanical aspect to it. Like I like cars and all that different stuff and bikes.
And they're big.
Drums
Yeah.
drums have all those cool chrome metal parts and the little
Yeah.
screws and the little hardware bits, all that neat looking stuff. And it's just I like to look at drums. They look fun. And,
Yeah, it's quite a
you can
commitment,
work
the
on
drums.
them. And you can they got screws and you can
Yeah.
take pieces off. You can modify them, and I like
which
that.
he does.
Which I've done. So,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
So when did with the Green Reflectors, like how was it birthed, born, conceived? Let's
Well-
go back before the birthing.
Yeah. Well, it was sort of like I played guitar for a while, and then I went to audio engineering school. And while I was there, Aaron and Dad used to come in on the weekends and pick me up and take me home to Bridgewater so I could escape the city. And they just showed up one day, and Aaron had saved up his money for a drum set. So like I didn't know what was happening. I didn't really know he was interested in any of that stuff.
Mowing lawns.
Yeah, so he was
Paper
mowing
routes.
lawns, paper
But you
routes.
didn't tell him that this was.
$515.
You made $515 that summer.
Yeah.
That's wow.
We had
I
good
mean,
paper routes, him and I, when we were
Wow.
kids. Yeah, they were big paper routes.
That was
My
a lot of
shoulders
money.
Still hurt.
That was a lot of money back then.
Yes. Oh yeah. Well, so they showed up and they just sort of like, they're like, hey, we got something in the trunk, like it's like one of those moments, where like in Pulp Fiction when they open the briefcase and then the light
lights,
shines out.
yes.
It was like, it was like that. And then there was this red drum set in there. And I was like, what? Where did this come from? What's going on here? And then that was it. So that was November 30th, 2007. And I'd say that's the birth of the band. It's like the day that Aaron got his drum set. And he didn't really we jammed that night, and neither of us could really play that well. But like that's it. That's like when the band started. The name wasn't there yet, but that's it.
Well,
Because it hasn't changed since, really. We're the same two guys.
What about the name?
You want to tell that story?
Yeah, Aaron.
Well, there's a couple different stories.
Yeah, there's a couple
Okay.
half-truth
Well,
stories.
you tell one, and then
They're true.
you can tell the other one.
Well, like kind of like started off like Kyle had his old Yamaha like Strat rip-off guitar,
That was painted green.
and
by hand.
we had taken it apart, and I had sanded it all, filled in all the dents that were put in it when you were doing like Nirvana covers and stuff and jumping on it. And
different
things.
times.
Like amazingly, it survived. Anyway, so I repainted it seafoam green. So we had the green guitar, and then wasn't long after that. One morning on my paper route, I found this old tube amplifier in the garbage, and it was green.
Oh.
And that was like a death trap kind of thing. It had like a 2-prong plug that if you had it in the plug just the wrong way, when you put your fingers on the strings, it would
electrocute you.
It would buzz you.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you fix it up?
It has been fixed.
It has been
Okay.
fixed
Still
since
around
then,
too.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
So,
So that
was green.
That was green.
So
Okay,
green
so
was already kind of a thing that existed, and then
in our gear.
in our gear. So like another thing I like was old bikes. So like me and my dad used to go around like hunt in the valley, flea markets and yard sales and stuff, try to find these old banana seat bikes and stuff. So one time we were going down through Hansport and we see this one sitting in some yard at this shed of a house, little scruffy looking yard with all
Knickknacks everywhere.
knickknacks, farm
Yeah.
equipment everywhere.
Yeah.
But he had one of these bikes there, so we stopped and talked to the guy, like kind of like weird old eccentric guy, and he's like going on about this bike that's got all this stuff on it. He had like the raccoon tails and every knick-knacky thing you could stick on a bike.
Hockey cards and the
Hockey
spokes.
cards and the clickers and the spokes and
rabbit feet.
Probably.
it had mirrors
I
all
wasn't
over
there.
it, but he had like all these like little tiny reflectors that he had drilled into like the fenders and the frame. He was like, "Yeah, you can find the green, you can find the red reflectors and the orange reflectors. They're all over the place, but the green ones, they're rare. I can't find those. I gotta look all over the place." He's like, had this big spiel about these green reflectors and how rare they were. I was like, okay, yeah, whatever.
And so you go home, you tell that story, or how? Okay, so
Oh yeah,
that
It was
like
like
more about the bike at the time, not the
it was a
reflectors
thing that
part.
like
but
it kind of happened, and then like the story just kind of like floats in the back of your mind for a long time.
Yeah.
and then it just like pops up later, like the green reflectors.
so
that's
and then
pretty much it. Yeah,
And you're like, okay, that's it.
That's it.
yeah. Well, we had
Love
his
that.
his variety show, like he was graduating, he graduated in 2008, and they always had like a 2 a year or whatever variety show at the school, and he wanted to do one, and we needed like a name on the sign up sheet, so we could have either put like, oh, Kyle and Aaron Furlot, but like what fun is that? So he's like, we need like a name, so we like kind of like. I think Dad was the one who blurted it, like who said the green reflectors.
It stuck with
Yeah.
him more. He was the one that brought it back up again. Like, remember that guy?
I can remember him saying like, "That's a cool name," and we just like went with it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that was it. So it's a family thing. Like Dad was involved in it too.
Okay, I'm obsessed. I
Yeah.
love,
New
I
topic.
shouldn't say obsessed, but I love cleaning, organizing, and I'm not an expert in any of it. I'm not an expert in interior design, but I really have a passion for just decluttering, and I always want to help other people do it, but I try to like stay away from it unless somebody asks. Do you think I should start a business for decluttering? Like inspiring people to have cleaner products in their lives so they don't get cancer. And
What was that person? There was a Netflix show where that lady had like all this like had everybody throwing out all their stuff.
yeah,
What was that called?
She has a book too.
KonMari method or whatever.
Yeah. And my method is very similar. Doesn't hers like if it has joy and is useful,
Yeah,
something like that?
The stuff.
I didn't
purge-
actually watch it.
Purging
Oh.
stuff is actually very nice. We did that over the winter, and that was like,
Did ya?
that is good.
It feels good.
Yeah, clearing out clutter for sure.
Like I don't think it feels good for hoarders because it's like an actual mental illness.
Yeah.
It's probably the most painful thing to get rid of your junk. And some, not that it's all junk, but I what do you
when
think?
you
Like,
realize
do you
there's
think,
too much stuff around, it's like, I really got to do something here.
Yeah.
And
or it could just be like someone who just can't bear or doesn't even know where to start. They want to make the move. They just need someone to come in and be like, all right, here's the deal. We're going to do this.
Yeah, you could be like a coach.
Yeah, I
Like
could
it's
be
good to be like they had that person that can kind of like, not be biased or whatever. Like they don't really know. Like, well,
Yeah.
this doesn't look like it's. You could be like, when's the last time you used this?
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago. Well, what do you think about that? Like, maybe we should just
Yeah.
get rid of that.
Yeah.
Some of the stuff Dad was talking about, like, you have all this stuff in storage. It's like, well, when's the last time you had that out and used it? Like, why is that still
Yeah.
a thing? Why is that it's taking up real estate space
Right.
in a container somewhere? It's like, are you getting any enjoyment out of that?
What about this? Have you ever put stuff in storage and then forgotten it even existed?
Yes.
That's something I want to dive deep with people because, I know my family was kind of like that. Yeah, Mom, I'm talking about you. I love you. But I went through this with my mom recently, and she's just done so well. But I think it was really hard for her because a lot of it is tied to memories. But if you but there's stuff in boxes you just may never, ever, you totally literally forget it's there and it's taking up space and it's hard to clean around stuff. And then why not just let it go?
The being hard to clean around stuff because you have too much stuff is like, that's the thing that like drives me like absolutely insane.
Same.
And I have to like move things around or like I totally get that. And our parents right now are going through this, like, they're not like, our parents aren't elderly, but they're both going through this like weird phase of like being retired and thinking like, we could die anytime now. We don't want to have all this stuff for you guys to get rid of and all this.
Oh, that's nice of them.
So it's like, that's kind of sort of their angle, like where they're coming from. Plus my mom, like she's like, I'm like her, whereas she likes to keep everything really clean, but she doesn't want to have to like move something to clean around it all the time. It's really irritating.
Yeah.
And I totally understand that.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I have a small house. I don't have a lot of room, but I do have a lot of stuff because, as you know, music stuff takes up a lot of room.
It does.
And you need like a lot of it to like do your thing sometimes.
I know. That's hard especially when you're recording things. You want to have maybe different, different types of instruments or amps to get a certain sound, let's say. But maybe you could be, if I start this business, you could maybe be my Halifax rep. And
I'd do it.
And I'll be the North Shore, Cumberland County rep. But, maybe we could get people to hire us like in other parts of the world.
Yeah.
Like, you want in on this now, Aaron? Aaron, would you be good at this too?
Oh, probably.
He's the muscle.
Yeah, you're the muscle. Do you have any back problems?
No, he's good.
Not yet.
Okay, cool. Aaron's going to be the muscle for sure. And we're going to be the boss. Here's what we're doing. All right. Yep. And Holly, do you want in? I mean,
I'm going to be on the opposite end.
Holly, we're going to have an intervention with Holly?
You should see Holly's little art room that she has.
Uh-oh.
I know where everything is.
Uh-huh.
Except when I get at it.
Do you want it to be in order?
Maybe.
I one time I worked
You're
at
our first customer.
Yeah, you're our first customer, but we'll, pro bono because we need a testimonial, and if we don't charge you, hopefully it'll be better testimonial. Hey, what do you guys got? Like, what do you got on the go right now? Like,
We've got a whole bunch of cool things on the go. We're hopefully getting we have that the Cool Rides and Poolsides LP. It's done. It's pressed. It's like it's
Promise?
actually a real promise, 100%. Okay. Like it's been like kind of in the works for 4 years, and like it's actually like the music has been done, the art's been done, everything's been done for like 2.5 years, but the record process
can be painful. It can be painful. Let's admit it.
Yeah,
we're
totally over it now. I just want to make a new album.
I hear you.
We actually have 2 other albums
waiting in the wings.
Oh, good.
Waiting in the wings.
Yeah, that's great.
But I think at this point, I need to go down to the United States to get them and then bring them back.
Road trip. Are you guys do you ever think about just not printing physical anymore? Because I do think of that from now on. It's just so much work and money, and
outrageous expensive.
Like less and less people are buying. It's hard to predict.
Yeah.
So just.
Well, we didn't do that stuff for the longest time. We didn't make. Like we used to hand make CD. Like I would burn the CD and then we would like draw on the CD and make like a little paper sleeve for it. And that's what we did. The record thing only popped up like a couple of years ago, and we're like, we should do like one. If we can do one, that'd be really cool. And then we did one, and it was like, it was stressful, but it was like to see it done was really cool.
Rewarding.
And we're like, we got to do another one. And then what happened was that there was this guy in the States that liked our stuff and offered to pay for one of them. So we're like, well, we can't say no to that if it's free. So he made us like a bunch of little 45s, like little 7-inch records or whatever. And then he sold, I think he sold most of his share, and we've sold a lot of our share. And then he was like, hey, do you want to make a full LP? Which brings us to the next thing. So, because they're being paid for us, it's kind of hard to like say no. It was like, it's so tempting. But yeah, I mean, especially after this one being such a long road to get it done, and
I just want to see it.
I just want to see it. I want to have
Yeah.
it, but I don't. I think I have like one more really good idea left in me for like a physical record.
Okay. One more. Yeah.
I have at least one more, and I don't think it's ever been done before, and I'm really excited about it. I could tell you about it.
Okay.
If you want,
Yeah.
okay.
Will this be the premiere that you're
Nobody's heard about this
And I just hope no one gets to it.
We were
before
gonna
we do.
Okay.
not say about it,
But now
just
I feel
in
like talking
case.
about it.
Well,
Yeah.
no musicians listen to this podcast, so
Well, this one, I'll say this one is, if you like board games, boy, have we got something for you.
oh yeah.
So I went online on
did.
Amazon and I found little spinners that fit perfectly inside of the hole of a record.
Oh boy, I know where I think it's
So-
going to be a game.
Yeah, so the record is part of the game. So I want the B side label to be like the numbers.
Mm-hmm.
So then you
Little
attach the
spinny wheel
spinner
thing.
and you can spin it on the record.
Yeah,
I'm like, that's the
awesome.
craziest, coolest
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
And then the back of the artwork, like so the front cover will be one thing. It's going to be Bon Shaw 500, which is a reference to a defunct go-kart track in Prince Edward Island. And then on the back is the board game. So we'll have like
Nice.
little punch out with cars, and you can race them around this track. And then
Okay,
the board game,
yeah.
like the little we're gonna have like the song names kind of like pieced into little bits of the racetrack.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, so like one's called Lost Bonanza Mine. So there's gonna be a little mine up at the top or whatever, and you can you race your car around the mine and all this kind of stuff. So yeah, I think that'd be really
Jeez, you guys
it's
are-
super
great
us,
idea.
and it's
It's
sort of
totally on brand.
it is.
But also could pair nicely with your Christmas.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's
Yeah.
like it's a kid friendly, like it's like a toy.
Yeah.
You know,
Which once again that comes back to like we like the toys and the
we
the
had
fun
good
things.
childhoods
Mm-hmm.
and remember that stuff fondly, and that's the stuff that we really liked. Just hanging out, being creative, playing with toys. Just like the looks of things, like sometimes it's just like the way like a toy would like feel in your hands, you know? It's kind of like a weird sensation sometimes, but like all that stuff just sort of, I think some people lose it. They just like,
Yeah.
we got to grow up and get rid of these toys and this kind of stuff. This is what kids do or whatever. It's like, we grew up in some ways, like we both have adult grown up big guy jobs or whatever, but like, yeah, I still buy Hot Wheels cars. He still buys Hot Wheels cars. Like we still
Yeah.
play.
All of these things can be part of the band. Like I can use those toy cars and like the promo pictures, like with the miniature guys, and that's what that's what we do.
But people freak out when they see it, especially if it's like a toy that they had when they were a kid or something. Like
Yeah.
especially Aaron collects a lot of like older toys, so they'll like, see like this old Tonka truck. And, oh, I had one of those when I was a kid. I haven't seen one of those in years. That's so cool. Where'd you guys get that? Oh, can I buy one or whatever? So like our music kind of like appeals to like. It's not just the music, it's like the stuff we post and like all the toys, like that kind of resonates with people too.
Yeah.
In a kind of fun way.
Everything we like, try to incorporate it in some way to make it part of the band.
I could see that with y'all, how you just never you've never abandoned that. It's just,
Still here.
but it's one of the reasons why I think you do have such great, just great ideas that bring people so much joy. And I think that's just a good reminder for other people that incorporating a little more play into your life. You know, if life is
Yeah.
just so heavy, we can't sustain that heaviness. It makes us sick, you know?
Yeah. I use that word a lot, the heavy word. And that's, I talk about like our music not being like, it's not like heavy. There's no lyrical content. Like, so you don't really have to think about it too much. Just just hear it.
Yeah.
And just like resonate with it or whatever. And then there's like the visual aspect where, it's kind of very physical.
It's a very, I wanted to bring that up too. There's a physicality to the performing that is so fun. It's so fun. It must be liberating.
It is. It's like, I was thinking about just be okay with being silly or like, just like, that's kind of what it is. It's just like, I get like, you get so pumped up at a show, especially if there's a lot of people there and they're like all smiling at you, or if you're nervous or whatever, and then the adrenaline's going like crazy. And I just like, that's the stuff that like naturally comes out of me is like, okay, I see, I'll look around sometimes and I'll see something like, oh, there's people sitting at a table and they look like they're like, maybe they're grumpy or something. And I'm like, those are the people that I'm going to go over to, and I'm going to like go underneath their table and do something crazy. And then like, I just kind of go with the ideas. I just kind of will myself to do them. But like, yeah, just be okay with being silly. Just be silly, I think.
Were you ever scared when you tried to do that stuff, or were you like, no, I'm just going to do this? Or do you guys, is fear a part of your lives, or like nerves or anything like that when you're trying something new?
Well, before a show, I'm definitely like, I'm always really nervous, and I'm not really sure what to expect, So like, it's not until like things get going, and then I just kind of let it all go.
Yeah.
Like right now, like thinking about it, I'm like, I did that one time, or like I can't believe I did that. Especially after a show, and like you do something really silly or something funny, or I jump off a stage or whatever.
Yeah, I've seen you running around.
He ran across the street, through the restaurant, up the stairs, and then played on their upstairs, like their rooftop balcony or a patio thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it went back downstairs, back across the street in front of a bus, and then kept on playing.
I think I saw the clip of that, and I was like, way to go. That's awesome.
But that's like just in the moment. There's not much, like, there's some aspects of it that are kind of like they're scripted or choreographed at this point. Like there's certain songs that have certain moves maybe, but like there's a lot of it that's just like, just go. Just like whatever. Flow.
Yeah.
Let the move, let it just come out of you or whatever.
I love it.
Yeah. Just be free.
There's so much that I could talk to you guys about. I mean, we're going to talk more because we're going to barbecue, and I'm going to take you out to Oxford to see my friend's store. I didn't even cover like cancer because you're a cancer survivor. What about you, Aaron?
Nope.
Oh, sorry.
He's good.
You're good. Oh, that must have been kind of freaky, when your bro...
That was a little weird.
Oh, we thought the band was toast.
Yeah.
You thought you were going to die?
Not just that I was going to... At least that I thought that like my hand would stop working because they had to take all the lymph nodes out of my left arm.
You got no lymph nodes over there, eh?
Yeah. It's all gone.
That was all like numb, 20, wasn't it? Like after the surgery, your arm was like completely numb or something?
Yeah, I woke up from the surgery, and I think they had me kind of like pinned up with my arms in the air for like a long time while they did the lymph node surgery. So both my hands were numb for a week, and I actually thought like that I just wasn't going to get it back. So,
dude, that's not surgery. That's like a kinky sex cult of some kind. Don't know what.
I got to talk to Dr. Giacomo Antonio about that one again.
Yeah, what were you doing? What was that?
Have hooks on your back, and were you up on a wall? So
it felt like it when I woke up. That's for sure.
What kind of cancer was it?
I had melanoma, and it just like spread everywhere.
Oh yeah, you told me that before.
Yeah, I've got a big scar on my stomach.
It's shaped like a G.
Ooh,
yeah, it is shaped like a G. Yeah, here I'll show you.
See it. That is so badass.
Right?
You guys should post that on your social media.
Paint it.
Yeah. That's amazing. That's a cool scar though. It's actually quite.
It's pretty intense. Like it's still like numb around there. Like you never like get. They didn't tell me that kind of stuff. At first it's like, yeah, you're gonna like lose sensation in all these different parts.
Yeah.
And it's like the nerve damage or whatever. Like I can't even feel my arm from like my shoulder down to my elbow. On like the arm that like they took the lymph nodes out of.
But you can still play now, obviously, because
I mean, it kind of like it's a little slower. I kind of had to like modify the way I do things, and it kind of hurts sometimes.
Regular
or whatever.
pains.
When did this happen?
I was 23, so it was like 2011.
Yep.
That's scary when you're a kid. You're a kid.
I just thought like I just thought I was toast. Like I looked it up and like, oh, but this is what killed Bob Marley and stuff. And like you look at the worst stuff.
Terrible.
Like, when you get sick or whatever, you like go on Google now, and it's like the worst thing in the world to do that is to like Google your sickness and see like the worst case scenario all the time. But that's what I did.
Yeah.
And everything I saw was really bad. And then they were telling me too, is like there's a really good chance that you're going to have this thing called lymphedema.
Yes.
And I'm sure you know about that now.
With my mom going through breast cancer. Yeah,
she probably would have had to have the lymph nodes taken out too.
She's having them all taken out now. Yeah.
Yeah. So this is kind of like it's this same thing, but like I only had like one arm done. But it's lymphedema is like it's just the lymphatic fluid has no place to go, so it just kind of like builds up in your arm or wherever and it swells up, and they're like, there's a good chance that'll happen to you. and you probably won't be able to use your fingers that much. Like you won't be able
If
to
you get that.
your dexterity will be
Good.
gone.
Yes, all very much something to look forward to.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
have you had that?
No, but I have I get this pain in like the top of my hand that's really frustrating sometimes, and it'll kind of like make my hand go into a fist and stay there for a while.
Oh, wow.
So I have to like watch it.
Scary.
I stretch a lot, and then I have to watch what I eat. And
Do you wear a sleeve? I've heard like
no, but I did have for a little while I was wearing like a little bit of like wrist compression and stuff like that, just to kind of see if it would help. But I think it just kind of made me weaker.
Yeah.
So I just stopped doing it. And just tried to strengthen, instead of like supporting it, I tried to like strengthen the muscles around there.
Yeah.
I thought that was the right way to go. And it seems to be like, that was over 10 years ago. And we're still doing it. I'm still going.
Yeah.
I haven't stopped yet.
You're like, are you in remission? What is the term?
Well,
are you cured? What's the deal?
Well, it's sort of like, I didn't have to do chemo or any of the things that like you usually kind of associate with like getting over cancer or whatever. It was all surgery stuff. It's like I went in just I had like a mole removed on my stomach that was like bleeding all the time. And I didn't really think anything of it. I just thought like, hey, there's this mole bleeding and it's ruining all my white work shirts. And I had to Band-Aid it up all the time. So I'm like, okay, it's not healing. Don't know what the frig. So I went and had it removed. And at the same time, I had one on my back removed. Like that was just like a big one. It wasn't bleeding, but I just had it removed. And I thought like if there was a problem with any of them, it would be that one on my back because it was huge and it was gross and had a hair coming out of it or whatever. So
Nice.
I was like, I know, it's nasty.
We've got some of those in our house. Don't worry.
I'm a very freckled person still. Like,
Same.
That's just the way our whole family's kind of like that. We're very
don't
freckled.
look behind my right ear.
Dark moles everywhere.
Yeah.
Skin
I think
tags.
I beat you guys, but so
I've had them checked out. They're okay.
Wait,
Yeah,
so
he's good.
You're good. So were they good?
The one on my back was fine, and then they said like the one on my stomach was I always kind of exaggerate it and say it was loaded with melanoma, but like it had melanoma, and then like so what we have to do is like in a month you're gonna have to come to the hospital, and then we're gonna take a larger area around that mole, take all that skin off, and then kind of stitch it back together.
Yep.
And at the same time, we're gonna take 2 lymph nodes out for biopsy, and then when I went there, I didn't know where they would take the lymph nodes from. That wasn't decided until I got there. And this guy, who actually was a friend of mine, and I didn't realize it was going to be him. And he's like, "Oh, dude, you're going to hate me after this." And he pulled up this needle that was like a mile long, this huge needle. And he's like, "I'm going to pump this stuff in you, and it's going to either highlight the lymph nodes in your groin or your armpit." And that I couldn't decide, and I still don't know like what would have been worse. Probably the groin, but I don't know. So anyway, they go up to like my arm, and then like, so we're gonna take the ones that are. And I was asking questions. I was like, so where are they coming from? Because I had to know. Like it's gonna be your arm. So anyway, they took the ones out of my arm at that surgery, and I remember waking up. I remember going into that surgery, kind of being like Mr. Tough Guy, thinking like it'd be as easy as having my wisdom teeth out. And I woke up, and I was like, I was like curled in a ball because like my stomach had been like stitched back together right where that scar is, and it was really just tight, and my arm hurt.
Move that.
That's right. You can't laugh. You can't cough.
Yeah. No, it was just awful.
You want to laugh, but it hurts. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I woke up laughing from my surgery there to get my wisdom teeth out, and that's what I thought. I'd just be like, ha 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 ha, I'm all high on this or whatever. I'm just gonna laugh. I was like, no. I woke up and I just like curled in a ball, and they just kind of like left me there for a while, and like told my parents, and my parents came in and stuff like that. Anyway, so I actually was really stupid, and I went to work the next day. I I walked down to work like all like hobbled over, like, and I stayed for half a day, and then I was like, I can't do it. I just gotta go home. So I went home, and I think I stayed home for the rest of the week or something like that. But then, within 2 weeks, we played a show, and then what they sent the lymph nodes out. Sorry, this is a long story. They took the lymph nodes out to test them to see if there was more melanoma or whatever, and there was. And I don't know, it might have been like a week or 2 weeks later I heard about it. My mom worked at the doctor's office, so she would like get this stuff like right away. So like she's the one who actually like she told me before the doctor that I had melanoma in the first place, and she came home in tears that day, and she's like, "This is so bad," and she showed me the thing, and it was the same thing again. Like it just like we thought it was kind of a crisis averted. Kyle had his surgery, and I think we got rid of it all, but we didn't. There was more. So then I was scheduled for a surgery. So this is like, we're talking Christmas time, and then January was the surgery, and then the next surgery I was scheduled for was in April. And that one was like a more intense surgery because I had to have all the lymph nodes out. And I also had like a Jackson Pratt bag, kind of like there's this little scar there on my armpit there.
Oh, a little drain.
Yeah, like the drainage or whatever, which was just gross. It's like, it's like
know.
blood and
I drained
guts.
my mom's.
Yeah, blood and guts coming out,
Yeah.
and you just kind of have to like deal with it or whatever. But yeah, I woke up from that surgery, and I was more scared going into that surgery because I was so freaked out about my hands and stuff like that, and not being able to do like play guitar again or play video games again. I thought like this could really suck. Mm-hmm. And the fact that I woke up and both my hands were numb and stayed numb for a week, I thought like, well, I don't know why my right hand is numb. Like they didn't do anything to that arm, but like, yeah. So for like a week, and then it just came back, but like it hurt so, like that arm hurt so much. And I had this thing called cording, which is like scar tissue that kind of builds up around the area. And then it will like go like, you literally see it. It looks like a cord that goes like from like one side of your armpit to the other side of your armpit, all the way down your arm. And mine went up into the top of my hand. And it was just like this real tight, gross feeling like scar tissue. And I'm not really sure, like, I don't know, like, the science behind it, like, why that happens, like, if it's just the trauma from getting the surgery done or whatever, but, like, it was nasty. And I looked up, like I got to get rid of this thing. So, like, they gave me exercises to do, like, where you take your fingers and you crawl up the wall.
Oh, yeah,
like,
my mom does that.
Yeah, to kind of, like, stretch things out or whatever.
Yeah.
So I would do that, but, like, I would push it to the point of, like, extreme pain because I was, like, I had read stuff that, like, you can just, like, snap that off. You can just break that right off. And I did it, and it was disgusting. I was going up the wall as far as I could, and I would push it, and then I would like try to bend my arms backwards, and you could just feel like this is the worst stretch of your life. It was so disgusting. And then one day, it just went like, I heard it, and I felt it was just like and it was gone.
What?
Yeah.
And it just
disgusting.
Just dissipated in you? Your body absorbed it, or what?
Yeah, that's like, it just kind of like,
Holy fuck.
it actually still kind of can come back.
Okay.
Like if I just was like, if I led a very sedentary life and I sat around and I didn't exercise and I didn't do stuff, like it would definitely come back.
Oh my God.
So you had to kind of keep moving.
I'm going to tell this to my mom.
So that was just my experience. I wouldn't, it was.
Well, she's getting her lymph nodes all removed. So
Dr. Kyle.
Yeah.
Dr. Kyle. Not a doctor.
This is just my
He's not
experience.
a doctor. Medical
Yeah,
doctor.
not a doctor.
Yeah.
That's me. So that's my story.
Incredible. I'm glad
about
you
cancer.
Glad you survived that, buddy.
Yeah, I go for regular checkups if there's anything that's weird, like a mole or whatever. And I've had other things removed, like on my nose or whatever. Anytime I'm paranoid.
You're like, get rid of it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. I'm the surgery king. I even had double jaw surgery. I've been there.
I remember that. I've had the jaw. I'm part of the jaw surgery club as well. Not double, single, but that's another episode of a Chat with Heart podcast. Hey, though, listen, we were talking about AI earlier, and so I'm not a huge fan of it, but it can be useful. I'm not going to lie. But what I started to do was I have these little goodbye statements that I read to my guests now, and I use AI to make them. I'm just so curious to see what it's going to come up with.
What do they think about?
Yeah. So, you ready for your goodbye statement?
Yes.
Okay, here I go. Goodbye, Green Reflectors. Just wanted to say a huge thank you for being such awesome guests on the Chat with Heart podcast. Your love of cats and Christmas is truly heartwarming. And let's be real.
You should have talked about cats more.
Yeah, I know. And let's be real. Your loud, in-your-face riff rock sound and those extremely physical shows are what make you guys a true delight. You really know how to make people happy, no matter how many guitar strings you break or amps you blow. Do you do that? Ever? Does that happen?
I don't know how many amps I blow, but
Kurt Cobain a couple
I've definitely
guitars
Kurt
before.
Cobain a few guitars.
Yeah.
And that riff rock phrase, that sounds eerily familiar to something that I wrote.
Oh, well, AI. Plagiarism. And hey, who cares if you might have different mothers or fathers? You're a family in rock and roll, and that's what counts. Keep rocking, keep loving those cats, and keep the Christmas spirit alive all year round. Stay loud. And then my personal edition was thanks for all of your support
Thank you.
across many years.
Did the AI not know that we were brothers?
I think
almost
the
sounded
AI
like that.
pulled off of your bio that said you're brothers,
Right.
but
We
you
don't
don't
look
look
like
like brothers.
brothers.
Yeah.
Yes.
So-
That's how they interpreted that. That's interesting.
Yeah, I thought that part of that was really great. A lot of it, actually. Couldn't have said it better myself, and didn't say it better than you because it's pulled from most of what you've written.
Some of it was, yeah.
This is a real hoot, you guys. Like, I'm excited about the barbecue. I'm excited you brought all this stuff. I'm excited to share this episode and all the fun pics that we've got. Holly, I'm glad you came.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you
Holly.
for being here, Holly.
Thanks for putting up with me.
All right. I think we're done.
That's it.
It's love. I don't want to say goodbye to you. Oh, I don't want to say goodbye to you. Welcome to the Heartbeat Hotline, 1-902-669-4769. I'm the host of A Chat with Heart podcast, Christina Martin, and I'm so excited you called. Leave me your question, a suggestion for the podcast, or a comment about this episode. Please be aware your message may be used on the podcast and social media. Tell me your name, where you're calling from, and it's also fine if you want to remain anonymous. Thanks for listening. Have a great fucking day. Thanks for listening to A Chat with Heart podcast, produced by me, Christina Martin, co-produced and engineered by my husband, Dale Murray. Dale's a stellar singer-songwriter and music producer, so check out his website, dalemurray.ca. The podcast theme song, Talk About It, and I Don't Want to Say Goodbye to You were written by me and recorded by Dale. Visit my Bandcamp to find CDs, vinyl, digital music, and fun merch like custom-made puzzles and temporary tattoo packs. Become a monthly or yearly supporter of this podcast and my music endeavors on Patreon. If you're new to Patreon, it's a membership platform that helps creators get paid. I love it. Sign up as a free or paid member at patreon.com/Christina Martin. I would love it if you had time to share, rate, leave a review, and subscribe to A Chat with Heart on all the places you listen to podcasts. Wishing you, my little heartbeat listeners, a great day.